everyone, this is Trevor with Mando Deck Tech, and today we're going to be taking a look at Ahsoka Tano. Now, this is not a leader I thought I'd be showcasing today, but this week while I was out traveling, I ran into a player, a buddy of mine named Cameron, who was kind of toying with this little combo deck with Ahsoka Tano, and I thought, wow, this is really, really cool. We broke it apart, kind of made some tweaks and revisions to it. After playing 9-10 games with it, I think there's actually really, this deck's got some teeth. And so I want to showcase this today. So shout out to Cameron for kind of cooking up the nuts and bolts of this idea. But before we dive in, if you haven't considered yet, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. And before we move on, let's go ahead and figure out exactly what Ahsoka Tano does in case you're unfamiliar. So on the leader side, she says if she has coordinate, you can spend an action to attack with a unit. It gets +1 for this attack. Okay, and then as she comes out on resource turn 5 as a 3/6, if you have coordinate, she gets +2 for the attack. That makes her a 5/6. Now, I thought, I think this maybe leader was kind of underwhelming, but once I saw the way that he was kind of cooking with it, I think she's pretty strong. So here's what he's got rocking. So what he was doing is he paired this with Petronaki Arena, which we've seen other people do this with Asajj Ventress to kind of help these like lower to the ground leaders have a little bit of extra punch. And he was able to get coordinate out consistently without a problem, and I'll show you how he's doing that here in a second. But what he's doing is with a 3/6 with coordinate, now she's a 5/6 with Petronaki Arena, and she's a 6/6, and that's going to be almost every single game. Pairing that with her lightsaber, now she's attacking as an 8/6. Red 3, he would get out pretty consistently. Now she's a 9/6. My idea was, since we're going really hard with this combo of just hitting really, really hard with Ahsoka, let's bring in Bravado as well. So we've kind of got a high roll. Maybe I can get you for, 8 or, 19 damage or 18 damage. So maybe this is Magical Christmas Land, you might say. Well, in the 10 games that we played, he hit me for 9 on turn 5. I'd say 6 of them. It was pretty consistent. Even with me knowing what he was trying to do, it was still, I found it difficult to try to slow it down. Now, I ended up, I think we went about 50-50 on our games, but as we tweaked the deck, it started getting more consistent. And I think as he got more and more reps with it, because I think it was like the first time he played it, it was just getting better. So I really think that, we as a community should kind of come together, take a look at this, and see if we can make this, really, really viable in the meta, because I think it's got some teeth. Now, the only weakness of this, you would say, yeah, but for this to work, she has to have coordinate. If not, it really kills it. Well, let me show you what he's doing. So what he's doing is he's got this turn 1 play of going with Leia Organa, ready a resource, and playing Political Pressure or Soldier of the 501st. In this case, pretty consistently, he would do this. He would have 2 or 3 units out on turn 1. Now, Political Pressure is a card that I really, really like. I know a lot of people in the community out there, poo-poo on it because you don't ever want to give your opponent an option. But let me make my case before you bring out the pitchforks and the torches. So Political Pressure says choose an opponent, and they may discard a random card from their hand, and if they don't, create 2 battle droid tokens. So generally, if a player doesn't know what you're doing, they're going to say, you can have the stupid tokens. I don't care. I'm not going to discard a card at random because that's clearly the worst thing. But that just makes Ahsoka go off because now you've got like auto coordinate. And if they spend their time dealing with the tokens, that's great. They're slowing down to deal with tokens. So every time he played this card on me, it was bad. It was just a bad thing. I didn't want to have a chance of losing my turn 1 play or turn 2 play, depending on when he was playing it in the sequence. It was always bad. And I think that was really cool. It put a lot of pressure on me. Pun intended. I think it's a good card, and I think it should be a staple in the Ahsoka deck after seeing how it ran. Also, if he didn't have that, he was also running Soldier of the 501st, so he could go Leia, Soldier of the 501st. If he didn't get Leia, he would also just go Political Pressure, then play Soldier of the 501st. Heaven forbid if he got 2 Political Pressures on the draw, it was just like, oh, good Lord. So that was really, really cool. Now, one thing you got to remember, too, with those battle droid tokens, they're not just 1/1s. They can also be, they activate her leader side ability, so you can attack with them for 2. And then there are cases where those things are trading with units. That's really, really strong. And of course, with this deck, you're always going to be playing Batch Brothers as well. So on turn 2, you're getting 2 units out. So like I said, he had no problem having Coordinate on the table. Coordinate is an ability that I really felt like when we were coming into this set, I was like, Exploit seems really, really solid. I can see some cool things we can do with Exploit. I don't really see how good Coordinate's going to be. And what I'm seeing early on now is I think maybe we all misjudged that because I think Coordinate's actually pretty strong. So with that, let's take a look at the rest of the deck. So we've already kind of talked about, his little turn 1 plays. We've also got Green Squadron A-Wing. He was running the Anakin ship. We found that Green Squadron was more consistent because a lot of times he wouldn't have the damage on his base to get the Anakin thing to get starship to get bigger. So consistently, I think since we're not going with the needing the traits for like a now there are 2 of them type of deck like we see in an Anakin style deck. So Green Squadron A-Wing, I think, is better. Also, Sabine Wren was really, really solid. I was playing one of my control decks at my Palp 2 Blue, and he was able to kind of get through the Village Protectors with Sabine Wren, so that's solid. This is a combo deck, in a sense. It is aggro, but it has this combo element to it, so R2-D2 is really, really solid because you're digging, looking for the Saber or Bravado, whatever it is you need to kind of help get this thing going. A lot of times he was searching for Red 3. All right, so we're running both Surprise Strike and Breaking In. Breaking In is, you got 5 slots here, so it's either 3 or 2. In this case, we decided that Breaking In was more important. We just saw that every time I got a Sentinel out, he liked having the Breaking In to kind of get past it and hit me really, really stinging hard. One turn, he hit me for 11 with Ahsoka using Breaking In. It was really, really annoying. So, Red 3, of course, you're going to be running Millennium Falcon because you can get some early space presence with that. Ahsoka Tano was a card that he's running. Now, I will tell you, because he's going wide, we didn't see, I think in 9-10 games, he might have gotten ambushed to work once, but it's a 3-4. It's a stats that for 3, it's pretty good. But what we saw is we were like, well, should this be Ezra Bridger? Should this just be something else? And it could, but because we're playing Ahsoka's lightsaber, you do have this high roll of it working on her. You could make an argument for us to do something different with Ahsoka Tano, the unit, but I think right now this is where we are with it. He was rocking Sabine Wren, seemed really, really solid, lots of pressure, hard to get rid of because you can't attack into her. She also dodges, she can't be felled, she can't be used, so that kind of helped her kind of stay in this, do you want to waste a takedown on it? Probably not. So Sabine did some work. K2SO was something I said, hey, let's add this as well because of the overwhelm. Let's get some solid pressure in there. Maybe we swap that to 3 K2SOs and 2 Sabines. We could go either way with that. Bravado gives you that out of nowhere kind of surprise attack. Like instead of a cause to believe in, for a cause to believe in, we're running Bravado. Maybe for a cause is better. If you look over, we have plenty of hero units, but I think Bravado is very, very interesting. Again, we're going for that high roll. Anakin and Plo Koon is our top end. Plo Koon is absolutely ridiculous. If I could run 5 or 6 Plo Koons, we could, but we can only play 3. So we have Anakin in here. He was running that, I think, in 9 or 10 games. I don't know if he ever hit the table. He always was resourcing him, so that card could be something else. The idea behind putting Anakin in here is he kind of, we're going to have Coordinate. His on-attack draw card is good. It can kind of help refill your hand. That's the theory behind it, but he never needed it. So maybe that could be something else. So there are some flex spots in this deck. I'd love to hear your feedback on it. I think this is a really cool idea. I think it's something we can continue to build on. We can make it better. But I'm just telling you, play around with this deck and you'll be surprised at how consistent Ahsoka is hitting really hard. So I think that's a lot of fun. It's almost like you're playing like a Voltron style Ahsoka deck, and it's pretty interesting. It's a lot of fun. All right, so with that, I'd love to hear your feedback. So please put some comments down below if you've tried this, if you're playing it a little differently. What are your thoughts on political pressure? The only thing with that is try it before you knock it, because I'm telling you, it was surprisingly good. With that, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. And until next time, let's just keep it rolling. Thanks a lot. Bye.